If you watched the last video, you already know I wasn't done digging through these forgotten 80s comedies on these shelves. And honestly, I didn't expect the first one to hit, well, as much as it did, but it definitely has sent me back down the rabbit hole. And stick around towards the end of the video when I talk about that one time that John Travolta was actually kidnapped by the Soviets. So let's pull out 5 more forgotten 80s comedies right here in the Movie Classic. And as always, I am Greg, and well, it's good to see you back. So let's start with one that pretty much screams 80s chaos right out of the gate.
I think you're an asshole. No, let me correct that. An immature asshole. You're a slob.
Starting with Bachelor Party. Bachelor Party, well, this is one of those movies where, you probably remember the chaos more than the actual plot.
You're inappropriate. You're unrefined. You're obnoxious.
It's basically a soon-to-be married guy whose friends, well, they decide to throw him one last night of complete 80s insanity. And of course, everything that can go wrong absolutely does.
I'm getting married.
Yeah, let's have a bachelor party with chicks and guns and fire trucks and hookers and drugs and booze.
Yeah. All the things that make life worth living for.
And that's what's funny about this. You've got a young Tom Hanks right in the middle of all this chaos going on, long before he became this Tom Hanks. Back when he was doing all of these off-the-wall comedies that feel completely different from what people associated with him now, of course. But, let's be honest, this was also one of those films that felt a little bit off-limits. Back in the day, the kind you would catch late at night, volume turned way, way down, just enough hoping nobody, of course, walked in the room at the wrong moment. And somehow, well, that just made this one that much more exciting to watch.
Well, Mr. Thompson, that's really quite a list. And you're right. You're absolutely right.
Now, this next one actually came up a few times in the comments on my last video, and honestly, I cannot argue with this one at all. It's one of those movies I hadn't really thought about in years, well, until people started mentioning it to me, and then, of course, it suddenly all came flooding back. And I'm talking about One Crazy Summer.
Just a second. There's a rocket coming in here.
What? A rocket? Wait, what about my money?
And this movie right here, well, the setup is about as 80s as it gets. You've got this young, aspiring cartoonist played by John Cusack trying to survive a disastrous summer getaway after finishing up from high school. He heads off, expecting a classic coming-of-age romantic summer, but that vibe doesn't happen. Instead, he gets dropped into chaos. He's on a rundown island with a family that, well, it feels like it belongs in a completely different movie.
Are you sure you don't want just a little bit more?
No, thank you. I'm stuffed. It was delicious, though.
Well, all right then.
Right away, it's clear this isn't a normal teen comedy because instead of things going smoothly, well, he gets pulled into some bizarre characters, escalating situations in summer that just keeps getting more ridiculous the longer it goes on. Really, that's the whole vibe of this film. It's not about realism, it's about momentum. And of course, where, one situation spirals into the next and everything gets a little more unhinged, it's always in the best way possible.
You and me, we're gonna have a fight today after school. 3 o'clock in the parking lot. You try and run, I'm gonna track you down.
All right, here we are with the third in this list. And, well, this is a great middle of the list pick because, well, 3 O'Clock High, well, it's one of those, if you know, Gen X gems. What starts off as a simple assignment spirals into a ticking time bomb when mild-mannered Jerry, played by Casey Siemaszko, look for him in Back to the Future, he's in there. Well, he accidentally ticks off the most terrifying transfer student in cinema history. Well, we're talking about Buddy Revell.
You are gonna do shit to him, asshole.
What makes this one hit differently, especially for Gen X, is, well, how real that anxiety feels. No over-the-top slapstick, no safety net, Just that sinking feeling of knowing you've got a problem coming and there's no way out of it. The whole movie plays like a pressure cooker with the clock always looming overhead. In the background, turning lockers, hallways, and classrooms into battlegrounds. It's got style, it's got attitude, and it taps into something universal. We all remember that one day where, everything went sideways and you just had to survive it.
Young people today can't seem to pay attention for more than a few months.
This next one right here, the fourth one in the list, well, it always seemed to be on at 1:30 in the morning. Yep, I was awake. Amazon Women on the Moon, this is one of those, these kind of movies that, well, it always seemed like it was never meant to be watched straight through. But somehow that's exactly why it works. It was built as a chaotic late-night TV broadcast. This film keeps interrupting its own cheesy sci-fi feature with fake commercials, bizarre sketches, and completely off-the-wall channel surfing moments. Well, it's very much in the spirit of the Kentucky Fried Movie. I just hit my hat. Well, anyway.
Amazon Women on the Moon.
And what makes this film stand out is how ahead of its time it feels, poking fun not just at movies, but at the entire television experience itself.
Well, men, I've been studying this map of the lunar surface, and I've chosen the dark side as our landing site. So, don't forget your space beam.
So we're closing this out with a movie that, well, it didn't just get forgotten, it practically got erased. Like it was part of some kind of top secret Cold War operation. I'm talking about the 1988 film, The Experts. What the hell is this, a Laserdisc?
Deep in the heart of Russia.
Beyond the doors of this classroom, there is an exact replica of a town in the United States.
Now, I swear that this will sound made up, but John Travolta and Irie Gross play two New York club guys who get kidnapped by the Soviets because, well, they need their help to learn how to be cool. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This is peak 80s confidence. America really thought we could win the Cold War with, well, better dance moves and nightclub energy. And the crazy part is, well, this should have been a cable classic. It's got the premise, the stars, that weird how did this get made energy, but the thing, well, it just didn't flop. It vanished like it got locked into some kind of Soviet file cabinet somewhere, labeled the American Cool Experiment that failed. You never saw it on TV, nobody had it on VHS, heck, it was never even released on DVD. So anyway, if you haven't seen this fine piece of propaganda, the time is now. In fact, KL Studios has finally released this on Blu-ray, so I think you really should go ahead and get yourself a copy. So we've gone over another 5 awesome forgotten comedies from way back in the 1980s. If you do remember these films, heck, I would really love to hear your memories about these and tell me, what did you think? And I look forward to seeing you next time. Hopefully you'll stop back by again soon. And again, thank you, and I'll see you soon.